Hello and welcome to this introduction to Light My Way. On top of the 3D Experience platform implementation and application management, there are also other activities that customers do related to the platform, such as support, training, change management, user documentations, and so on. Light My Way is about solving these needs in a smarter, more cost-efficient way directly in the application. This slide contains some quotes from a Gartner report where they talk about this new emerging technology that they call digital adoption solutions, or DAS. It assists employees with complex business processes and so on, and it provides a high value in terms of productivity. And they believe that this will have a huge impact, especially on the CRM market, where about 20% of all CRM installations will use DAS on top by 2023. The existing digital adoption solutions out there seems to be either quite general or if focused on anything, it's CRM and Salesforce, as you can see in the screens here. The left side, we have an example of WhatFix. You can see it in red there, where it gives the user a long list of tours in the applications that he can execute to be guided in different scenarios. To the right, you have the walk me example with the call out there, click new, guiding the user. We have customers that have tried these solutions with the 3D Experience platform, and it doesn't seem really adapted, or you would need a more focused implementation on top of 3D Experience platform to support the different complex processes and specific needs and quirks in the platform. And it lists some, seems like these solutions are merely simple tours. They are not context sensitive state-driven process guides, meaning those are quite rigid and it doesn't support the type of dynamic process that you would find in 3D Experience platform. Typically, processes in 3D space, it can span over multiple objects, multiple pages, multiple users, and even multiple days. And those are more short tours that you execute on in just a limited amount of clicks. It's also a problem related to that these solutions doesn't seem to know which guides are valid for a certain view, meaning that users end up scrolling long lists of instructions and it's hard to find the right one for the right place. Creating content is also not really adapted to the platform. It's hard to build specific guides or tie it to things important in 3D Experience, such as object state or object type. Maybe something is specific when the create form is open, or you want to have something when the search overlay appears. And this typically, when you try to do this, you end up finding bugs. So if the user pops open the search overlay, you would still see a lot of instructions pointing towards elements in the background and so on. So yeah, talking to these customers, we have heard that it's not really usable in real life and they don't recommend to buy it. We can also see similar solutions from Dassault in 3D dashboard. There is a new, in the latest releases, you have this story mode that yeah, it's like a Light My Way light, where you're able to create directly in apps and execute simple tours. You can only tie it to tabs and widgets, so you can't go more detailed than that, and it's only available for 3D dashboard. But still, it's more or less the same concept, only a light version of it. With this said, we believe that there is an open space for a new product, digital adoption solution, especially focused on the 3D experience platform and the whole platform, including 3D space. And this would be a kind of a new tool in the box to provide and make happy and productive users. What it is, it's puts a layer between the platform and the user, which can guide the user seemingly directly in app. So it can bring up the right instruction in the right time, and base it on and evaluate all the instructions all the time against what he sees in the UI, and really make sure that he gets the right guidance there. It will also support the more complex and dynamic nature of the processes that you would find in 3D Experience platform. So we think we will find really unique spot there with this product. Another thing that is important, of course, is how you create these instructions. This will happen also directly in app. This is not a service or an implementation background, no deployments required. The administrator will simply do this by clicking elements directly in the application and tie instructions to that. This will, of course, require a kind of deep connection with 3D experience and how that works. And this is where we think our long experience working with it will really help us making a great product, allowing you to relate instructions to important states in the platform, such as state type, just by checking a simple checkbox or something. You will also be able to combine multiple states, making sure an instruction only appears for a certain type in a certain state when an attribute is something or whatever you would like to combine there. Looking at the values and positioning, I think you would probably recognize these from what we normally do with TECHNIA, with our value components, for instance, productivity and adoption. It's all about bringing these values in another way. So with value components, we do it by adapting the platform, and with services, we're also able to adapt the platform to boost productivity and adoption. So this is another take on it that might be the better take for when there's productivity and adoption issues related to training or not finding the way in the UI. The smartest way might just be guiding the user in this case. And it's positioned tightly with 3D Experience platform, and I think it will have an overlap with different things that we do, like customization and adapting the UIs, for instance. There might be some adaptations, customizations that you could avoid by guiding the user instead. User documentation, maybe you could limit it by half, or maybe exclude it at all and do it all in app instead. I think change management, e-learning, that's also something, an alternative here. classroom training. I'm not sure. Will that be obsolete, or could you cut it in half? Support, I think, is another interesting topic, as many times things I hear from customers is that you spend some time on this user documentation and user trainings, but after a week the user defaults to calling support again. They don't revisit the documentation that you made for them. And this could be a good way of tying back common support tickets and make it visible directly in the application, and by that limit the amount of support needed. And onboarding, of course, it's when you bring in new people in the system, you need to also train them, and this could be a way of making that much easier. Going into the solution overview and a bit of the technical concept. So in 3D experience, the user will get callouts directly in the UI, tied to an element in the UI. So he will get the right instruction in the right time based on the other things he see in the page. And the administration will happen in a similar way. The administrator will point-click on different elements in the UI and tie an instruction to that. And he will also be able to check simple checkboxes to tie it to standard states such as object state or object type. One really cool thing about it is that it doesn't require any system installation or deployment. It's a browser plugin, a web extension, which means you could test drive this directly in production without affecting anything. You can just put it on top. It's just a layer, and it's also by that DS cloud ready. So if you're running 3D experience in the cloud and still want to improve productivity and adoption by getting something in the UI, this is the way to do it. And in fact, it could be on top of any cloud. Also the server part is a cloud hosted subscription. So no installations required at all server side. This is only something that lives on the client machines. It's also quite easy, or this makes it easy to start with. This is more of an off-the-shelf product than other products you've seen from TECHNIA in the past. There is no service project required or anything like that. You just install the application on the client you want to use, and you start record or consume the instructions. We will provide standard guides as well for standard 3D experience processes, such as change process, for instance. This is an example demo here, where you see the blue callouts here guides the users in the change process. That is commonly quite challenging for users. This is something you usually spend a lot of time training users in and create these manuals and such. So here you can simply follow the steps here, and all callouts that you see is validated all the time. So the right callout appears depending on what happens in the UI here. So for a change order in prepare state, when this view is open, the following callouts are visible. And now he moves into this property page and is guided to go into edit mode and so on. It also supports moving over multiple screens, multiple users, multiple days, as as the change process is something that usually takes a while to run through completely. And as it's now time to move on to the in-work state, we will see the callouts disappear there. It's no longer time to edit in the preferences. Instead, it's time to go into the change action and do the right steps there. So just follow the instructions and it will take you there. The real power lies within content creation, where you can have teachers or super users, guys from support, non-technical, that can create the instructions directly by pointing and clicking in the UI. So here is an example where a user ties a tour to a tab and just saves it, and it's available to use by users directly in UI. If you're interested in a more detailed demo and discussion, my name is Axelsson. I'm the product manager for Light My Way. Just send me an email and I'll return to you. Thank you.